don't wanna freeze inside. I fell in love with the burnout here, but a little on the latter side. I'm here alone and you don't ask why. Writing down in a can you hear me now? Autograph and send it through the air. Say you're everything, 'cause you're everything I'm not. The knife won't cut the road tied to me. Breaks and nothing. Filled with sorrow and you'll hold that wasted by the giant blade.
Well, here it is. This is the Capra 2023, what YT is calling the MK3, because it's their third version of the Capra. Core 3 with access. I would have to say that I'm glad that I waited for the third version, because I feel like this third version is the best one they put out. Some people like the older ones. I can't really attest because I haven't ridden both, but from what YT has been saying is that this is their best climber yet. And dude, this bike climbs. It's 170 in the front, 165 in the rear. This bike is badass. One of the sickest bikes I've ever ridden. Broke 5 PRs first time out on this bike, and I was out of shape. Bike is dope, love it. YT's the brand that I like to ride now. I've decided that I'm not gonna ride Evils anymore because Evils are just not cutting it for me anymore. I got a new stem because I wanted to shorten that reach, because I just felt like the reach was a little long. Not that the bike was long, because YT's run a little bit small in my opinion. So the 50mm stem that was on there is probably the best stem to put on there. But I also like my reach a little bit shorter. So I can't remember what the stock length of the reach is on this bike. I'll put it up on the screen, I just can't remember. But I just know that I dropped it 15mm shorter with that stem, and it made a huge difference. Coming in probably about 33 pounds, not too bad, not too shabby. Did do some upgrades. Upgraded to some Noble TR37 wheels with i9 hubs. Also upgraded the chain ring and crank with Cane Creek E-Wings. You know I love my E-Wings. And also did a bronze chain ring from E13, along with my Cash Money Atlas bars by Raceface at 780mm. I've had these bars for like 3 years. These bars are dope. I love these bars. I love rocking these bars. I could not believe it when I got on this bike and rode it. What really made me think about getting this bike was Sedona Mountain Bike Fest 2023, when my bro Mark from the segment was on his 2023 Capra, and his was the Core 4, and we went up this really steep climb, about 1,100 feet, about 1,000 or 1,100 feet climb in Mesa, Arizona, because obviously the Sedona Fest was snowed out. So we went down to Mesa to ride, and I was on the Izzo, and in my head I was thinking, dude, I'm just gonna like be chilling all day and having a good time. And I already thought, damn, Mark is gonna have a hard time riding this bike. Like he's on a long travel, heavy bike, and he's gonna be dying. And man, to my surprise, Mark was on my ass the whole time up that trail. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was on the Izzo and I was doing pretty good. Like I was pretty satisfied with my climbing that day, and I was like, all right, I'm doing pretty good. Izzo helps you climb. But Mark was on my ass, and I was like, how is this possible, dude? He's on a Capra, he's on a heavy bike, has lots of travel, and there's just no way. Or Mark is just a beast at climbing. I mean, he's always on his e-bike, so. Nevertheless, he climbed that climb, no problem, on my ass the whole time, and I was like, all right, there's something to be said about this bike. The first day I ever brought this bike out, I went to my local mountain that I know, the mountain that we just did. I broke 5 PRs that day, which is crazy because I had been off the bike for a while, so there's no way that I was more fit, but I was off the bike for a while. Not only that, back last October, I broke my toe, so that made me like 2 more months off the bike, and then all of a sudden, this thing comes along. Other than that, like the suspension, I love the Zeb fork. It's one of my favorites. It's the brand new Zeb, so it has a different damper on it. It has the higher end one. I mean, I don't know how to play with it. I just set it and forget it. But I will say this RockShox Super Deluxe Ultimate rear shock, this shock is badass, dude. Like it has a full lockout, and I'm pretty impressed with this shock. Before all of that, like when I climb with this bike, I don't even lock it out because it climbs that good. Like I don't understand. It just does a great job. It has the YT Access. I don't know how I feel about that. I just keep thinking about getting stranded like Steve did when we were out at the out in Mesa when we were climbing up Alp, and Steve's battery ran out and he couldn't change any gears, and he was super bummed. And then finally, by the time we were almost done, he finally got a new battery. So far it's worked good. I just don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm also running the MagPed pedals right now, the ones that have the magnets that make you have the feeling of being clipped in. So far, I really do like how these pedals work, but I think I need to play with them a little bit more and adjust them to get them like dialed perfect, because I feel like my foot comes off a little too easy and I can't always find the magnet. They go on, the little metal goes on the bottom here. Also on my cassette in the rear, I'm not running your normal 52 tooth in the rear, I'm running a 50 tooth. Reason for that is I wanted to drop some weight, and I want to say it's probably about 60, almost 100 grams less. If you're gonna have a big ol' enduro bike, why not have less weight if you can? Plus, when you're climbing, it's not that big of a difference between the 52 and the 50 that I noticed. Like I can still get up all the steep climbs and everything that I was already doing anyway, so. Let's face it, enduro bikes are not climbing bikes. You can do it, but they're not climbing bikes. They're bikes that will plow through anything. That's what they're made for. But in the back of my mind, I've always been a dude who wants to have long travel because I want to smash through things. I want to plow through things. I don't want to pick good lines. I just want to go through it. And the enduro does that. Plus, jumping on an enduro makes it feel like you're on a dirt bike. It's plush. It feels great, like the best feeling ever. So if you can get a bike that can climb and also be a plow, dude, you got the best of both worlds, man. That's what this Capra is. Crazy. YT's a dope company, and they're making some sick bikes, and they're really taking over in my opinion. The thing that people don't realize is that they're making badass bikes that are affordable. This bike was, it was like $4,500. That's pretty good as far as a price for what you're getting in this package. You're getting the highest RockShox fork, which is an Ultimate Zeb. I mean, you can't get that for cheap. I mean, the rear shock alone is going to be expensive. You know, like, this is a pretty decent package, and it has access. I mean, in my opinion, the thing that YT's doing by putting out badass bikes that are affordable, a Capra for $2,600. You know, if your budget fits that, your budget fits that. But $2,600 for a complete bike, that's a pretty good price. Plus, YT is metal as fuck. I just like the whole vibe behind the company, and man, The company is just like, you go there, you feel like you're part of that YT family when you go in that door. I just vibe with that. And you know, it's part of the reason that I decided to switch everything over to YT. You know, I like what they do. They treat you right. Customer service is great. And I've never had a bad experience once going there. So I had to just jump aboard the YT train because they're good dudes. So overall, my final thoughts on the Capra Core 3. This bike is amazing. This bike can climb. This bike can plow through anything. I don't think I've ridden a bike that does both as much as this thing does. I mean, it's not gonna climb as good as my Izzo, but it's right there. I'm not gonna lie, it's really close. Overall, I'm super stoked on this bike. Can't wait to ride it all this next bike park season and really shred it. Take it off some gnarly jumps for sure, but I couldn't be happier with this bike. To date, this is my favorite enduro bike. I've ridden plenty of Evils. I've ridden a Canyon Strive. I've ridden the Commensal Clash 27.5, and nothing compares to this bike. Nothing at all compares to this bike. I can't even believe it. I can't believe how good this bike turned out. It's amazing. YT Capra, Core 3, bee's knees, tears it up. That's pretty much it for today. If you like what we do, hit that like button. You want to see what we're up to next, hit that subscribe button. Always remember, start small, go huge. Thanks for watching. You.